Oh, right. Well, these are some games that I've gone through, and I go. Hmm, no. Oh no. The whole point of this was that I was gonna go to the compiled versions, and I had. Let's see if we can get out of this. Oh shit. Oh yeah. So what do I? Oh, this is Astro. This is Final Build. So this is my Astro Launch game. I kind of spent a little bit of time in the beginning to actually try to make it look good, and it's like the only one that I did that with. So, like that, this looks the way it does. I spent some time on it. I found these fonts. I kept everything in like the same kind of metric. I have a high score. So launch. So in this one, your goal is to hit Earth, really. So that's the easiest one possible. But there are like it does deal with gravity. And if you hit the sun, it makes a fun sound. There is a moon around the Earth. Okay. It also works if you have an Xbox controller. Oh, a lot of my stuff is going to require an Xbox controller. I hit the no Xbox controller. This is for future games and this game. Plugged in. security still works the same way. You see, if when you go out, it zooms in. Oh, forgot to. It's really cool when it like gets to a point where it zooms to like a grab. See it's the gravitation. The zoom is proportional to the gravitational experience. So as it gets close to zero velocity, it zooms in closer and reveals that this is actually an astronaut that's flying through space. Look at him go. He's slowing down. Oh, we just went outside the boundaries. He just went outside the boundaries. And that's what happens. I mean, I did a good job. That little cutting the images there, I could have made it a little bit further. I could have blurred that out a little bit better. Anyways, I can actually exit this. Oh, yes, I hit Y on my controller and it brought me back. This is where I was trying to be very formal. I was trying to be very formal about the game. So that was Astro Launch. Everything else that you see is going to be worse. Generally worse than this. All right. Well, that was number one. On to number two, Fighter Jet Sim. Wild. So, this is my fighter jet simulation. I'm just going through all the things I've already really done. I'll talk about it a little bit and see what we get at fighter jet sim. Okay, so this was about having access. Can't believe I didn't put. I hit the barrier of this side thing. Unfortunately, I have spaceships that come in. I should have put sound. Can't believe that. Here, I'm just gonna go over these buildings. Absolutely do. I put little things into it, like if you hit R L twice, you spin. It's kind of like the idea was a throwback to Star Fox kind of game. So that's where I just did import assets. Unfortunately, the collisions are what they are, and then I do have like spaceships that come in from the outside, and then as soon as they get into like proximity range, they turn in towards you, and then they start shooting. You know, and then they like will wait, and then they'll like charge you, and that's kind of what they did in Star Fox. So see how he's coming in towards me, and there's different ones towards me. Yeah, like the only thing I didn't do is like if I had that going, I would put a shield around me, and then you'd be invulnerable during that time. That would be, I mean, seemingly easy to implement, but like I have to get that. But the other implementation is that this goes on forever, and I put the box around there to kind of like say like, okay, this is where your flight rate. You can fly down, you know, like your flight range is within those boxes. But when you get those curved structures, the collisions right now are like janky AF. So I wouldn't. But and what's weird about this is that when you try to do like your firing is based on collisions, and you put that on the ground, sometimes it hits and sometimes it doesn't. See, all the times it doesn't hit. This is based on a landscape collision, and there's a lot of times it doesn't hit when some. Oh, you like my boost and stuff? Is that fun? I really made. I think I made this one pretty decent. You know, it's a fun. It feels good. Like when you're playing it on the controller, this game feels good. That's the way you want to move a ship. You got your little aimer on there. Oh yeah, this is pretty pro. I'm trying to figure out how to exit out of it. Oh, every time, every time I escape. By the way, I change the background with every. See how everything is random? Like I actually do create like everything randomly, and I change the background skybox every time you do that. So, now we have a green. All right, I gotta figure out how to get out of my programs because I think that I didn't give myself a positive way out. Really. All right. Well, we're gonna keep on going on. Number three, we're gonna see what the fighting game thing is that I made. I assume it uses the joystick because everything does. Made with Unity. Surprise! Oh, yeah. Oh man, this isn't even my good version. So this was kind of a thing where I had my side-scrolling like fighter thing. I had, I had a collision box you could jump on top of. Not too bad, right? Basic stuff. But then I had different animations all tied to stuff. So like I'd have quick jab, quick jab, big jab, big jab, big jab, quick kick, quick kick, quick kick, big kick, big kick. Oh, low kick, jump, jump. My other version is so much better than this. This is the I guess the compiled version of it, but I don't want to load Unity in order to like try to get this one that actually works like it should and it plays like it should. But you see, what you know, kick, 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 punch, punch. You can see the start of a good fighting game with the system here. Ooh, suspended animation, matrix mode. Okay, let's get out of this because There's nothing more irritating than a game that's a half done that's being shown off, right? All right, my Flappy Bird tutorial. Standalone. Like I keep changing the name of everything that I do, so it's like I have to keep finding out. Oh, this is standalone. This is my compiled. This whatever. But this is my Flappy Bird. Now this uses actually just the joy, like keyboard and mouse. So this is actually my first game, believe it or not, and it was like where I started to see where it's like, oh, well, you can take like these graphic sprites, and you can like do all these things to them, and I'm good at doing things to things. So I took what they did and then I amplified a little bit, and then I try to make it look nice and feel nice, and it does. It feels really good. You'd really like playing this game, believe it or not. You see how like you can get up to your zones. Like maybe copyright isn't entirely good on it. Also the background. Oh, I just hit a bird. The background was an interesting story. So like all I did for the background was I did a silhouette. Like I did a silhouette and I imported some um, 3D objects, like in like whatever free photo space you have. They're all there. All these dinosaur objects and everything are all there. And then what I did is I put the continuous image along the background, and then I overlaid a few things over it. But one thing I did is I put a continuous color filter on the background. So you'll see like as the edging of the background of the buildings like actually changes color. And you see like the alien is changing color. The alien is actually one color. But you see, all this is one color. I'm just doing massive amplifications of the color plate in front of it. Sort of like this is like a color overlay, and I put that as siren sounds to make it seem like it's more sporadic and chaotic. And then there's just like a dark silhouette, essentially, of the background, which, you know, I was trying to take Flappy Bird and then just give it the best feeling possible. Put all the details into it, you know? Oh no, it's like I got a storyline going. You know, there's like I changed up the thing just from pipes to I also spikes. I was gonna like do a third thing, but yes, I don't know. I got the little sparkles. Like, and this was my first game. Can you believe that? Can you believe this was my first game? And the other ones are gonna see so much worse. It was nice to be able. It was like using 2D as an overview. I have zero fucking idea what FQ. Oh, that's how I was trying to design my character. So I actually got this kind of traced out. I did some things to kind of like get this idea of a character figured out so that I can try to use it as for animation set. It's really complicated to do a 2D game when you have to provide all the 2D animations and they're supposed to be really like it's good to do generative. Like what I'm doing here is generative uh, graphics, you know. So this was my glow brick game. I don't know what number this is, but this is my glow brick game. And the idea of glow brick was that I was gonna try to use a Mac Brickout style game and just use Bloom, just bloom the hell out of it. You know, just try to find ways of interfacing with it, and I think I did a good job. So you guys can see, and you know, if you disagree, let me know. Here comes the lounge. Oh, see, I gave up. You can tell in my starting, like I tried to do a whole starting mechanism, but you can tell I just kind of gave up. I was so interested in how to get this to work, right? See a background reflections. It's just the idea was to make a brick out game that just felt good. It works. Like I did all the physics in collision detection. All of it's custom. Like literally all of it's custom. Because I had to make like see how it jumps off to the right if I hit the pedal to the right. And this was a little bit more complicated than you think it was when they have the countdowns and you have to hit them at certain angles. And if you hit them at right angles, they jump into each other and they do all sorts of collision detection problems. So this was actually, this is not a bad, this is not a bad game. See, you saw that one where it jumped off to the right angle there. Look, see, I even had the sound when you have to respawn. I like that I put the boundaries all react. Everything changes color. I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but everything alternates and everything kind of adjusts color. And what I was trying to do when I was making these types of games was to try to provide a simple experience, but like just fascinate it with detail so that it's like, it becomes surreal. So you see how everything is. We haven't finished one level yet. We'll try and finish one level at least. At least one level. Because my first level was planned. Actually, I designed the code inside of it so that the first level had like a hard-coded structure to it. And then it becomes more random. I don't know how many levels I did. I would have to open up the editor in order for me to find out. See, like collision detection there. You saw that it was getting kind of weird, fucked up. I mean, it does a good job. It does a good job. But like, collision detection's a motherfucker. Especially when it comes to like balls and corners of fucking boxes. Like, they want to jump into each other all the fucking time. I don't understand. Like, this is kind of like a resolution, but like, motherfucker. Oh, a side detail. I also have your paddle slowly getting smaller over time. So, gosh, I don't even know how to express that without having to play it. I got lives too. I can't die anymore. That was already too stupid. But, I mean, come on. Doesn't that feel... doesn't it sound good? Is that the way you want your game to play? You got your nice background. Oh, I don't know. I got stuff off free space, I think. See that little corner clip? See, but I also have to be able to get the corners where they bounce off like that. That's the issue. Is you want to be able to get the corners where they, like, you know, it's not exact, but they're hitting the corner, and so they bounce back the way that they should. And when you put in some parameters, they end up changing other ones. See how even the paddle makes impact and the sides do and everything does. Oh, Jesus fucking. See, my paddle's getting smaller. Oh, so now it's getting a little bit more random. You see what I'm trying to do? Everybody sees what I'm trying to do. See what I'm trying to do? Well, just get up in that area. I want you to go, and please, you can't seem. Oh, it can't seem. Oh, my shit's getting small. Oh, see, my collision wasn't great. Come on. Oh, motherfucker, how did... Oh, I'm sorry. This is no longer G-rated. My panel is getting substantially smaller, though. I did put things in place to make the game hard, so... And... like, how you hit it is dynamic based on the width of the paddle. So, you know, there's some considerations. Come on, good coding. Good coding has its benefits. It feels good. Looks good. Yeah, I give it that. Oh, just die. Yeah. Okay. That's reset. See? Isn't that cool? wish I had designed close functions for all of my, right? Make sure to like keep Task Manager open because everything I do is gonna have a requirement of manual shutdown. Let's try out my level demo. I think this is my level demo here. I think was just me trying to explore kind of landscaping a little bit. Like if you were a character and you had to move around, and like how would that movement be on your player capsule and things like that. So I want to go ahead and give a demo of my demo. I think it still uses the controller, just like most games. I built an entire input class just to do complex controller stuff without using the new complex controller system. I like it. I like my controller system better. See? See? Here we are. Jeez. The only thing I wanted to do with having that orb in front of me was to say, hey, okay, I have like a controlled lighting source in front, like in any way that I want. And this is like a decent kind of like, look, oh, there's shadowing on the trees. You know what I mean? Like, there's it's all 3D sources and references. So I can jump and try to accelerate myself. And like I said, I try to create an entire world here. So this is what I'm talking about. When I say I have the 3D reference and the light source and how to move things around and create a big world. Ooh, got a big backdrop. I got star fields in the background. So this is from my compiled. Like, you see all those trees? Okay, let me get on top of the mountain. I'm on top of the mountain, yo. I can see, and I have control with my. Just the fact that I have control with my joystick, says something. It's like I made these. That's so all those trees in the background. Let's get there. And still more world. The idea was to have like this is a test idea of how to manage walking on top of a landscape. But I guess that's enough of that test. Let me alt tab to the task manager so I can end this particular demo. Since I probably had a way of ending it, but I wouldn't know because I assume everything doesn't have a way of ending. I don't think I did anything with the particle simulator. It's just a mix of all my zip files. Space project. I think this is probably. This could be my best game simulation. In that I really put a lot into like the idea of it is being fundamentally basic and just keeping adding on stuff to it. and I added AI voice and
Captain,
sound.
our mining outpost has come under attack. The Flugan force has diverted a stream of asteroids towards our base. They are also sending enforcement to ensure full planetary destruction. Quickly collect the rare mineralite that will help us put an energy field for protection. We need 20 for full shield. Hurry, before the asteroids build up.
In this compiled version, you can't die. Sorry, it's like I had to test the end game at some point. So you can get an idea of what it looks like and what it would be like. You can see, space. Look at asteroid style. There's things you have to collect. You have to collect that shit. And then, oh, fuck. I just got hit by a guy that wanted to fuck me up. Because aliens exist too. And they'll show up and they'll fucking shoot you. And you'll probably see more of them. Oh, if I get too far. See? See? Yeah. Oh, by the way, they can hit each other. If I get too far away from the coordinates, you see that, like, breathing thing that happens? You kind of. I can just fly into stuff right now because I don't care about it too much. You can beat this. I have beaten this with the restriction that you can die. So it's not impossible. But it's just kind of a demonstration of like how this kind of game works. And what ends up happening is that you go back to your home planet, and then so we have minerals collected 6, minerals deposited 0. When I put myself, right, so when I go over it, watch the shield of the planet. So the shield of the planet's gonna build up. It's gonna be green.
Alright, 5 down. The Flugans have arrived. Hurry.
So we got storyline going. That's why my original this compilation doesn't include you having the ability to die, because like if you did, it would be really hard. And you have to work at it, and you might not get there for a while. So like this is kind of like, okay, this is the light, like the conceptual version of it, where um oh, come on. So you take a thing, even if you take one, it gets deposited. I got the equation set. I know exactly when you walk going into that Earth area. But everything actually does. There are some things that really stay permanent. Like all the starting spots of these things, they stay where they are. I don't know where they are. I'm just moving, and they're randomly where they are, and they get moved. They get hit by stuff. Like when they're doing stuff, like that movement that they're doing right now to each other, like that wasn't coded. Like I don't even know what the heck happened just there. Where it's like I went through one, I didn't go through the other. Can I still go through that one? Oh, Jesus Christ. What the? I think I glitched it. Why is that going like that? Well, I know why it's turning that color. It's turning that color because I have bloom on it and I'm covering it up by actually like my ship. So like the lighting effect is actually kind of changing that, but the absorption is not. Well, what is it? Well, see how that one just like got sucked in? This one's glitched out. I haven't seen a glitched out one before. That's kind of cool. I mean, everything's pretty hot, you know, solid in this. Like, I don't like. There's not a lot of room for it to get glitched out. I think it's because I had two things happening at the same time. Oh, look how big! How big I made some of those. Isn't that cool? And by the way, the aliens also blow up the asteroids. You know, they're blowing up stuff too. So I think that's what kind of gives it an interesting dynamic. Let me get a little pro. I'm flying this thing here and dodge everything in my way. Oh, except for that gigantic asteroid. Okay. So, going back to the planet. Did I grab anything? Yeah. So, you know, this was kind of experience. I mean, it looks good. It feels good. And that's the goal of a game is that it should feel good, you know? I should be able to control it in a way it's like, oh, I see the obstacle and I can avoid it if I want to, you know? So, that's kind of, that's this game. You see how it is. It's nice, sorta, ish. I think I made this in a couple days. But it was one of those where it's like, you know, you really kind of put your heart and soul into it a little bit. So I don't know if I gave myself an escape option in this game. Back to task manager to finish the job. If only. Fucking Christ. Space Project, where'd you go? And you. Everything jumping all over the gosh darn place. So that was my space project. I don't think my Super Mario thing was actually able to be. You know, these are sounds. This actually had to be opened up inside of Unity. It's like the thing I did after Flappy Bird is like I want to make like a Mario style game. Let's see if my tower defense. So of course I'm branding out with everything that I'm doing. So this is my tower defense style game. I think it worked better in Unity, but we'll see how this launches live to see. It's very basic. It's conceptual. obviously we got this. So there's a concept. Because I was able to upgrade each individual tower in my non-full build, so but you can understand the concept. You know, you just like try to make a tower D, and then like you can click on each tower, and then you have all your information, and you can actually upgrade it. This looks really bad because it's not as good as the I guess the opened up stuff would be. I think that's pretty much all. You want to see a church project I made? So I don't know like how this is necessarily formed, but I made a thing. My ex was part of a Bible church, obviously, that studied the King James version of the Bible. So I created this whole thing to like try to represent like, okay, well, let's like, you know, like structure this and make it really good. This is actually check this. I'm gonna go F11 mode. Oh no, F11 doesn't help me. So the whole thing is this is probably some downloaded stuff that I don't know about how it is, but like it gets down to like, so you want the Old Testament, you know?
Genesis chapter 1.
I made it so the whole background.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, and the earth was without form and void.
So I can pause. I'll pause that. But you can see how the background keeps changing. Like this is all HTML stuff and things that I created to like take all their things and put it in this HTML context. I wrote like even like this ball looking roller thing. I just did everything I could try to make this as good as possible. And believe me, this is as good as possible.
The book of Daniel, chapter 1. In the third year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem. And the second epistle of John.
Oh, and look,
the elder unto the elect lady and her children, whom I love in truth, and not I only, but also all they that have known truth, for the truth's sake. The revelation of St. John the Divine, chapter 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent his invited by his angel unto the Genesis, chapter 1.
I had a next book.
Exodus.
Next book.
Leviticus.
The next book.
Numbers.
The next book.
Deuteronomy.
The next book.
The second book of the Ezra, the book of Nehemiah, the
Book of the Book of Job, the Book of Psalms, the Proverbs,
Ecclesiastes, chapter 1.
the Song of Solomon,
The book of the prophet Jeremiah, the Lamb,
Joel, chapter, Jonah, Haggai, chapter
Like,
9, Luke,
I made everything work. Like, you can keep clicking through it.
Numbers, chapter,
Isn't it?
Ezra, the Book of Psalms,
the book of the prophet Jeremiah,
And
chapter
everything
1.
is there
The
on the
words of
side
Jeremiah, the son of Hilkiah, of the priests that were in
of
in the land
the
of Benjamin,
particular
to whom the word of the Lord came in
chapter
the days of
36
Josiah,
size.
the son of Ammon, king of Judah,
Man,
in the 13th year of his reign.
I did a good job. You know, sometimes you work on projects and you never know what you're gonna get. I have so many weird coding things. Let's see if I can try and find my Visual Basic one. I want to open up Visual Basic. Find it. Coding. EnviroShield. EnviroShell. Okay. Obviously, I was constantly working on. I have to open up the Visual Basic interface. Fuck. Why is it not opening up underneath Visual Studio? Okay, well, either way, the point is that this might get a little bit shielded a little bit with the. I have a background track in this. So what this is an Enviro shell. It's an environment shell of your operating user interface. I kind of went extreme with it. Because I wanted to emphasize the ways that you could do stuff with it. So this is taking a long time to load. IntelliSense apparently needs to finish loading and tell me that everything I wrote was intelligent. Come on now. Alright. So this is what it looks like in the beginning, right? Takes a little bit of execution. So it turns out behind this, there's code. There's code. Code that does things. You see all this code here? All this code are things I wrote. Which sucks. And all the weird things I had to import. I think that JSON is just even save it. Let's run it. Like it was not responsive, but like not ending. That's a fun program. Here's another fun one. I was gonna try to make this for work. So, and this one, basically, what ended up happening was, um, I was tasked to like kind of create something where they all seem like flowers in a garden. Now, I took this literally, as in, like, I'm a gamer. So when you say, "Hey, it's like flowers in a garden," like, yeah, I'll make flowers in a fucking garden, you know. But I don't think they knew that, you know. Like they didn't have that intention in mind at all. They just had it simply as, "Hey, we're gonna get a guy to try to make something to pep everybody up, right?" And so, I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad, you know. It's my flower HTML. You can see all the different pictures I use, and I use, you know, like think of it this way too. Interestingly, those pictures are still pictures, but when you see them, they're gonna look like they're animated. And hit F11 even to go into full screen. So what you would see is like there's people in gardens and the big flowers. You put like that spin, like that spin. That's what I like. So I completely free move, like I had absolute control. Yeah, with all them flying. Look at how random they fly around. They fly around like this one has a fast flat wing, and this one does. This one has a nice slow one. You know, they're all different. They're all different, and I actually had a background that it's like has textures on it. I spent a decent amount of work into this, and like every big flower, like come on, that's a good job. Look at it, look at it, look at it spin. I can even do it a little bit. I can even do it a little bit. Even do it a little bit, a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. And I put all those to be entered in, and they're all like reference stuff, and you know, you can just move around. And the cool thing I think about this is that it's full screen right now, and there's no F11 in the screen. But when I press F11 to get it out of full screen, it tells me to press F11 for full screen. You see, I'm detecting that you're not in full screen and what you have to do to get full screen. And then I remove it when you are full screen. You see, that's a more engaging experience right there. There's so many. I have so many ways this you that I'm playful with you. My 3D web stuff. So these are what I did is I used like there's a 3D. Instead of explaining it, I'm just going to show you. 3D, yes, 3D. When you include that into certain things, then you can like get aspects to OpenGL in some ways. I'll just open this. So I made this, and this is a browser. I don't know if it's going. I don't know if it's going too loud. I'm gonna hit start mission. It's measuring my distance here. Oh, I have a shield, and when things do hit me, Like they are shooting at me. I'm just gonna try to evade. This is a purely HTML game. I designed the ship. You see all the boxes and the triangle shapes? I had to manually enter in those stupid fucking coordinates. And then I had to orient that, and then I had a ship and another thing that represents these other ships. And then of course, just to make it look like a sandwich pad. Oh, my trajectory's way off course. I gotta go left because it's gonna pull my ship back in. This a fault of, you know, like when you know your own game too well. I push too far to the right. And I push too far to the right so hard. See how the game stars are now like fucking up? How they're like, they don't form on the left anymore? You know, like, now I'm gonna go back into regular space. And now the ship is gonna come back in and look a little bit more proportional. I got a bunch of bullets aiming at it, so I can tell exactly where it's at. Oh, I can see all the lines that are shooting at it. But, you know, it's still... I mean, everything's still active. They all just respawn at the end of the map. Oh, with F11. Oh, by the way, the purple things, those are shields. Good one. See? Look at that. See? You see what I'm talking about? I game designed me from day one. Oh, and you can boost if you hold spacebar. Isn't that great? Look at this. Oh gosh. Yeah. When you just like want to like code stuff and you just want to like have fun, like this is what I'm talking about. I can still shoot. Let's see, let's start a mission. Why are so many dangerous? One thing I didn't actually figure out is how to shoot things at range. Like if you want to click on something, that's one thing. But when you want to try to angle it, it's kind of something else. I can just break it. Oh, sorry. Oh no, F11. Jesus. Right, and I got myself measuring distance on the top. Man. I want to try to present YouTube in 3D format, which would be kind of different. Let me see what my 3D particle simulator is. zooms in. I'm trying to reconcile a bunch of particles interactions. I feel like I spawn them, and all of a sudden they all have a bunch of gravity, and they all sucked into a point. That's what happens if you were to spawn like particles like in a system, and they had to respond to things like gravity and stuff. They would like force pull each other in initially, and they just I don't know why it's doing what it's doing. I have an electron there. I can tell you that. Electron is green, proton is blue. The other ones are neutrons. I can tell you the color. That's why I picked it. they keep doing gravitational pulses right now. That, or I'm zooming in and out a lot. I think it's the camera. My rock and particle sims, if it starts jumping back in. Okay. Oh, notepad. There we go. I just changed it so that the zoom doesn't go so far. Like, it was pretty extravagant. I think I was trying to make a point when I first made it. But now it should kind of alternate between like two mediating regimes. We can see the particle simulation. You know, like, the interesting thing isn't necessarily in the graphical representation. It's the what's going on behind the scenes. And the good thing is that I think I dispersed everything fairly evenly around the center of mass, like a 0, 0 point. So generally, this should all coalesce. And I got the camera. It kind of keeps zooming in and out. I guess it keeps the 3D. You can see a little object on the lower left and the lower right that keeps. Oh, it jumps in, jumps out, jumps in, out. Okay, let me me see if I can a little bit better. Ah. I'm looking at camera position set to find out. So this starts off at negative 20,000. Let me just set that off at 200 real quick. This is going to be one of those things where I have to refresh it. But you'll get to see it in action. So I'm zoomed in now, instead of starting so far away. Zoomed in, I'm kind of set. Now, based on my dynamic, these are neutrons, and they will randomly decay into protons and electrons. And when those two things decay, they will each have charges inherent on them, and they will feel each other. And you will be able to see this. Oh, there's an electron right now. Why do I have League of Legends going? I'm not playing League of Legends. That's weird. Well, maybe my rockin' simulator isn't so great because I had League of Legends loading in the background. See, I'll take it full screen. So, this is HTML. This is JavaScript. This is a web page. And I just wanted to make something that was like .3D. You have get the, particle simulator-esque. Oh, I got a proton, I got a neutron. Got a proton, got a neutron. They feel each other. Oh, there's another electron whizzing around. The reason is like I did conservation of like momentum in the sense that like they don't have a mass that like the other ones have, so they get pushed around by forces really easily. Like the electrons are actually playing like electrons would play in the dynamic. Like all the masses are representative of their actual mass, and all the charges are representative of their charges. So, like I was trying to like create like a real simulation of like how this kind of dynamic would exist and play over time. you know, the idea of the camera zooming in and out that I stopped essentially is that I would like you'd be able to see like, oh, there's this is like it kind of gets down to this detail. It kind of like so it allows you to zoom in and out all the time, like so you can like sit there and analyze things because like that fucking electron just went blasting through those these things here like all this stuff just like shot out. I don't know what's going on here. Wait, okay, we got the electron going on this. Oh, see, electron, proton. They just fucking turned into a nuke. I did not do any of that. This is not AI code, by the way. Here, let me justify something. This was made. Oh, this is edited. 2018. Okay, you want to look at the original? Gosh, I saved it today. My backup was made in 2021. Okay? I'm not lying. This is an AI generated. Again, like go through it. Like everybody would look at it and be like, you know, I know it's not AI generated. AI would do it way better. But like this, you know, this type of stuff I think was fun. Fun for a web page. You think about it, it's just a web page. Yeah, like, could you imagine what you could do with like, oh, you move your mouse around and like shit like flies around it the way it should? Man, you can make this so cool, and like people don't do cool stuff. Kind of weird, but there's. You want to see my shitty code? Tell you what, some of that stuff was copied. Because I didn't know like how to like necessarily make a thing and then like tell you like a thing, but then I knew how to take the thing and then adjust it and add it to positions and a array and put it all under the scene in the way it should be and render the scene and put your zooms in. Oh golly, kind of weird stuff if I made. You know, Collision 3D. So, what was interesting about collisions? Oh, these were all modified back in 2018, so you know how old school they are. Is this? Oh, yeah, this is a distance. I think I did vector because this is multiplications of vectors. in a fast way. And that was the goal, was to have something that was like provided in a fast way. But then I had to create my own function. So down here, what I did is I used their functions of vectors to solve how a line collides with another line or circle. So you got your function, distance, line, segment, circle. Line, seg, circle. Like you could just see it right from it. Like this is what I wrote based on that, like the other stuff above. If you take a point 1 and a point 2 and this, what is circle? This is the, well, I mean, obviously you have a radius. Point 2. Center and radius. Okay. And then yeah. So because like I have to use the vectors up here. The whole point was instead of having to recreate this every fucking time I create like advanced mathematics, I have to recreate every single thing I do. And this is like irritating to recreate. So once I just like, okay, I got that. Now let me just import the fucking, I'll write the functions as they are. It's like, this is a projection. You know, is that the, like, this is how, and then that's what I used for the collision detection. And my like 3D shape spaceship is I imported that collision detection to find out when I actually like collided with something, like when that yielded true, essentially, based on the information was. Gosh. I feel like there are so many other things. And I'm going to try to cut this up a little bit to digestible pieces. If there was anybody there, that's nice. And if not, 2:30 in the morning, and I understand that.